And I'm live. I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. How the heck are you guys? Once again, we'll be watching a feature late at night, and I'll be talking over a movie. Something fun I like to do. Um, Tonight is Thanksgiving. Well, at least at midnight it became Thanksgiving. I don't know what time you eat your turkey. Is 2 a.m. acceptable? Sure. Um, Anyways, we will be watching Thanksgiving, the Eli Roth one, the 2023 deal. Um, and we'll be discussing the trailer that was first in Grindhouse, and we'll discuss some other Eli Roth stuff. We'll discuss Thanksgiving horror at large. Um, I see our friend Echo Seto is here. He says he's come to steal all of your olives and bread rolls. So he's got my appetizers. Give me back my appetizers. Don't you touch my veggie dip, damn you. Um, Anyways, this movie came out in 2023. I have slightly complicated feelings about it, which is weird. How does one have complicated feelings about Thanksgiving? I'll get to all that probably pretty dang quick. Um, this movie's a fun Thanksgiving horror, but not quite. I don't know. We'll get into it. But anyways, I see our friend Mayanne is here. Hello, Night Owl peeps. Well, welcome, Mayanne. I'm glad to see you awake and hanging out with us. Um, let me know in the chat if you've seen Thanksgiving before. It's currently on Netflix. That's where I'll be watching it. It's been living there for a minute. It once it was out of the theaters, it like went straight to Netflix. Just kind of found a home, dug in. Let's see. Our friend Anthony Chabot is here. He says, "Hello, man." Echo. What does Anthony say? He says, "Happy Thanksgiving, buddy." By the way, I'm seeing a Wicked. We're seeing Wicked tomorrow at 3 p.m. That's awesome. You're going to a Thanksgiving show of Wicked, huh? I've been intrigued by that when I think it's an Amazon film, maybe. I don't know. They advertise the hell out of it, so when it shows up on there, I'm probably all over it. But um, hey, our friend Patrick is here. Have Cheetah will view. Hoot to you, my friend. Meow. Um, Man says she's seen it, but I'm gonna put it on again. Yeah, this is my second viewing. The first time I saw it, I didn't like it as much as everybody else did. I think I went into it with high expectations, so I thought maybe we'd talk about that whole thing while we're here today as well. Um, Tonight, I wanted to do tonight's show with our buddy Larry, the horror cat dad. He and I've been talking about it on old episodes of Into House. You can hear when it comes out on Netflix. We discuss it, and I finally got around to seeing it, and we discussed why I liked it, what was good and bad, etc. And at that time, he and I talked about maybe doing a watch of it, but because of work schedules and whatever, everything lining up, we didn't get a chance to get together earlier today to do that. So Larry's with me in spirit. I kind of feel like he is always. He's like the little angel on my shoulder. um, Let me see. Man, I have another movie from your Face Movie Studio, Trauma. Oh, you. It is not good. It is not good. Anthony says, no, it's Universal stars Ariana Grande. Okay, yeah, I knew it was Ariana Grande, and like I say, the Fire Stick. Every time I plug it in, they are pimping wicked. I clicked on it to see when it would come out, and it says like release date not yet available or whatever. Which usually they know when it's going to come, so that's what made me think that they had some sort of overall deal worked out with Amazon Prime. Uh, I borrowed Larry this evening. Yeah, he had mentioned when I had said, "Do you want to do it Wednesday?" He said he had something planned with Patrick, and I was like, "Okay, cool, maybe later." And then when I got home from work after 10, I kind of messaged him. I was like, "I don't know, I'm gonna be doing it tonight, and if I am, it's gonna be late." So I feel bad. I miss my man Larry. He and I have to get together and do a collab real soon. I think he and Matt and I are all planning something together. I'm going to get the Midnight Hour shirt and Action Jackson VHS next week. Oh, I like it. I like it. Action Jackson. Um, Anthony also says, I'm watching Hustle and Flow. I like Hustle and Flow. It's hard out here for a pimp. Um, it was a weird movie because it's very, like, I don't know, fun and young. And it was made for a young audience, but it really, like, hooked on and got a bunch of, like, Academy Award nominations and, all these things were, like, mainly that, Hard Out Here for a Pimp and all that. That was what, like, really caught on everywhere. And I think it was even at the Oscars, maybe. I think they performed it. Um, So, anyways, yeah, we're gonna get started with this movie here very, very shortly. It's on Netflix. Like I said, it's been living on Netflix for a minute. So, um, You can watch along if you'd like, and let me know your thoughts on the film as we go along, or if you have anything you'd like to interject into my thoughts. Tell me what a moron I am. It's very easy to say. You love Troanne, you know it. Yeah, the constant debate between Echo and Man of her hating Trauma and him loving Trauma, and then the tug of war between the two of them. I personally love Trauma, but it's an acquired taste. Speaking of Trauma, where's Professor? Nope. Indie Cat House needs to come back. Yeah, we do need to get Indie House up and running or some version of it. We need to do something special at some point. Yeah, we do. Trauma is so terrible these days. Oh, yeah, I don't know. The new stuff. Trying to think of what's their newest features. I mean, all the classics, obviously, with Toxic Avenger and Sergeant Kabuki Man and all that. But some of their new stuff, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Poultrygeist. It was fun. It's a good movie to mention for today. Oh, that's right. You got 2007 coming up in the memoirs. For those of you who aren't aware, our friend Anthony is currently writing his memoirs, so keep an eye out for those. Uh, and What the Trouble? Oh, I was not aware of that. Long way from Trumbull's glory days. I don't know. Echo, do you have a rebuttal? It's over, Patty. Oh, they've pronounced it DOA. It's true. Uncle Lloyd, get to work, man. Jen's reviews from the grave. Welcome, Jen. Good evening, all, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving, the movie. I ordered Slashing, the Final Beginning. I'm unfamiliar with Slashing, the Final Beginning, but that sounds fun. I like the title silliness. Anyway, speaking of silliness, I'm going to go ahead and start this Eli Roth movie, and we're going to get to talking about it. So once again, I'm watching it on the flicks, and I'm finna press play. 3, 2, 1, now. Patrick hopes that the Slashing, the Final Beginning is good. Let me get my subtitles up. I always forget to put the captions on to start. Oh, it's on, right? Right. Okay. So this is a Sony TriStar picture. Something about it. TriStar doesn't seem like one of those big production companies everybody loves, but there's something about that Pegasus horse come running up out of the clouds. Like even since I was a kid, I always dug the TriStar thing. Trauma at some point lose its touch, maybe in the late '90s, but I still have hope for them. They still they give work to young filmmakers, so maybe the next great one will stumble through there. Uncle Lloyd himself is just such a character. It's interesting to see whatever he's got going on. I'm looking forward to Power of Positive Murder Trauma. Not aware. Nice to meet you, Jen. Yeah, Jen's dropped in a few times. I appreciate Jen's reviews from the grave. She's always pleasant and has good things to say. So we're starting off, and this movie's fun because I mean, I guess I'm not from New England, so I don't really get it like the people from New England do. Because like right now, the door handle to the house is a hockey stick. Yeah, I'm sure that's relatively fun for folks in the area. Um, There's the first shot of Patrick Dempsey. I always liked Patrick Dempsey as a kid, like as a child, whatever, not child, but a teen actor. Like You Can't Buy Me Love and Loverboy and any other movie with the word love in the title. Um, he's a fun actor, especially like when he was a teen actor. He played kind of that nerdy, like real average as average could be, almost like a young John Cusack or something. He was just middle of the road, nerdy but still handsome enough where he could be in the teeny bopper magazines and stuff. So here he's bringing the pumpkin pie to Gina Gershon. And it starts off and it's like, oh, a star-studded event. I know all these people. And then later on, this movie just goes into the group of young folks, and I don't really know any of them. I mean, I'm sure I'll see them in other stuff eventually, but that's when it turns into like a traditional kind of slashery movie to me, when I don't really recognize anybody in the cast but Patrick Dempsey and old buddy from Hostel. Speaking of old buddy from Hostel, here he is. I have no idea what his name is. The bald guy. He's got the big stash. Um, Let's find out what that guy's name is. I won't do his Wikipedia, but we will find out his name. He deserves a shout out. He's really good in Hostel. Dang, when I brought up the Thanksgiving IMDb page, the picture, the scene I'm watching is the picture that was up top with a old bald guy sitting at the table. He is not listed on here. That's a bummer. Well, anyways, old buddy from Hostel. Um, I'm assuming he's some sort of frequent collaborator with Eli Roth because like I say, he turns up in Hostel. I think he may or may not have been in that Death Wish movie. I only saw bits and pieces of Death Wish. Um, I liked Green Inferno okay. I really enjoyed Cabin Fever. I thought for a first outing, something that like, you got no money, you got like one or two stars, and then you go out to a cabin and, make a movie that's worth watching. And that was before the epidemic, pandemic craze stuff. So that movie really was like prescient at that point. Um, but then I thought Hostel 1 and 2 were both very good, especially Hostel 1. It feels like one movie and then it ends up being a different kind of movie. It's fun. I don't know. I liked it. But he kind of yeah, he sort of wait like I don't know, didn't do as well after those Hostels. He struggled. Like I said, Green Inferno struggled, and then the Death Wish remake with Bruce Willis struggled, and um, now with this, he kind of had a comeback, and I had heard nothing but like good things about it from people. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna love it. It's great. It's one of the better horror movies I've seen in a while." So it was so pumped up and hyped up to me that by the time I got around to watching it, I don't think I appreciated it as much as other people did. Um, at the time, I think the thing I said that pissed everybody off is it was a really good version of that old school movie Cupid with Denise Richards in it. Like it just feels like a traditional slasher based around a holiday. But maybe upon this second viewing, I'll appreciate it slightly more. At least, I mean, it's competently shot. Like all the cinematography's good. I remember there were a few goofy kills that rubbed me the wrong way. Um, I found the mystery of it all to not really be a mystery. Like from the second I saw the person who ends up being the killer, I figured they were the killer. Um, but here, yeah, we meet pretty much the young cast, the under 20 high school crowd. Even though all of them are probably in their early 30s. Um, but yeah, these are the folks that carry the movie. With just a sprinkling of old school names to keep you interested. Have Cheetahville View says Rick Hoffman. He also did Suits. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll trust you on that. Um, yeah, like I say, he's very he plays like kind of a douchey slime ball real well. Um, it takes one to know one. Echo says he also ordered some J horror. We need a J horror style turkey movie. It would be a trip. Oh boy, would it! TriStar did Starship Troopers. Yeah, TriStar did a bunch of stuff like from my childhood. I remember that was a frequent, uh, the beginning of a VHS. By the time I was into the DVD era, I was more into horror. So most of my movies ended up starting with Lion's Gate. Um, Anthony says he was almost in a trauma movie. Oh, do tell, Anthony. Which movie was that? And how did that situation come about? You see like an open call for people or something, like background folks? Um, I'm looking forward to James Gunn's Superman. Yeah, I am too. I'm interested in James Gunn's reworking of all, the whole DC universe. Yeah, his name is Rick Hoffman. There he is. He's really good. Um, um, yeah, like when I heard they were rebooting that universe, I felt relieved. I felt like it was in competent hands and going in a good direction. So here's what I thought was really probably the best scene in the movie, this opening Black Friday scene. It's a grabber. We're oh boy, at the 6 minute and 55, so basically 7 minute mark when the Black Friday scene starts. And that to me feels like a perfect prologue. Like it really sets up for what's gonna happen. And it's so super violent and crazy and just like I don't know, it's a good parody of some of the stuff you see on the news, in the afternoon on Black Friday. Speaking of Black Friday, available on my page is a my favorite Black Friday films, top five plus an honorable mention, five for Black Friday. I think maybe in there it's called like five for shopping, but you'll see it sandwiched in between Thanksgiving movies, so you'll figure it out pretty quick. Yeah, I like the way this movie's shot, the way it looks. Here's Gina Gershon and Patrick Dempsey. Gina Gershon, I don't know. I always liked her and everything. I think Bound is probably my favorite of her films. I think that's her, or Jennifer Tilly. Yeah, I'm getting caught watching the film because I hadn't seen it before. I remember the old yeah, the rival schools like kind of having a weird like pseudo gang war yelling over their colors before the Black Friday opening. And this is a good crowd shot. I mean, it's probably like a good 100 something people. Gives the film makes it feel big. There's what's his name? Tim Reynolds, is that his name? Tim Dillon. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Tim Dillon, the comedian. He's like one of the bodyguards or what do you call it, security dudes to keep people out of the store that they're getting ready to have Black Friday at. Right Mart. That's what it is. Last night, my buddy Bones on his channel, Mr. Bones, HPC, he was watching Black Friday with Bruce Campbell. I was hoping to get done with work early enough to get in on that, but I watched the replay. I recommend Mr. Bones' channel. He's always got something good, and Black Friday is one I've been wanting to see. So I still haven't seen it. I heard Bones talk about it. Hey, Lemonia Demonia. Demonia, Demonia. And a happy Thanksgiving to you, my lovely friend. I was hanging out with Lamonia last night on her channel. She had a lay pop up. Oh, happy Ginger Ninja Jason here. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I appreciate someone not from America wishing me Thanksgiving. It makes me feel like you're really trying to take part in our silly customs. So here's an honorary turkey drumstick for you. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not super in love with Thanksgiving either. Everyone was saying it was the best slasher of last year. Well, I liked it well enough. I was not in love with it. That's almost exactly how I felt. It was like, as far as slasher movies go and stalker killer type movies, it it's decent. It's adequate. I felt like there was an abundance of these in the early thousands where they just took all the CW kids or WB or whatever the hell it was, a Paramount channel or whatever the hell, and they took all of them and just put them in movies and folks I'd never heard of before were like, above the title stars of some of these films. Um, but some of them were competent, as usual. When you make a whole bunch of movies that are kind of like that, a few, filter through and are actually pretty decent. But we'd had a while since one like that had come out. Folks have been real interested in zombies and ghosts and, supernatural. So the old school slasher sort of fell by the wayside, unless it was direct to Redbox or something. So we're at the uh, 11-minute mark, and they're opening the door to the Black Friday special, and this is when the big like fight breaks out and everybody gets trampled. It just turns into this like horror mayhem insanity, the likes of which I probably haven't seen since Dusk Till Dawn. It's like things are seem normal, and then all hell breaks loose. So let's count the bodies just in this alone. It looks like we got like maybe two trampled. There's a guy with his throat slit. Yeah, there's two trampled. So we got three. Uh, That lady got pushed down. She's fine. That guy, he probably has a concussion. He's fine. Waffle makers. People love waffle makers for Christmas. Grandma, I got you some waffles. So yeah, it's all out mayhem. Gina Gershon's crawling for her life. Her makeup is a mess. Uh, Folks are recording it for YouTube because of course they would. It's one of the things of our culture, sadly, is right now instead of helping somebody who's bleeding from the neck, you're like, quick, where's my phone? Even dying by bleeding from the slit throat, that boy went for his waffle maker. He should get free syrup for that. So she just got down. I think that's a broken nose, maybe a broken shoulder. But her boyfriend's protecting her. She's all right. And there's a cut back to the security guard getting stomped. Not Tim Dillon. Oh boy, got his arm snapped badly. That's a compound fracture. And then some woman steals the waffle maker away from the man dying with the slit throat. Gina Gershon looking around like this is Saving Private Ryan or something. Oh, and then she got her face ran over by the shopping cart. And then yeah, this part where her hair gets caught in the shopping cart, and as the folks are fighting with it, the wheel like pulls her hair out and scalps her. So he's like a big, and it looks like brain. I'm pretty sure directly underneath your scalp isn't your brain. I think there's a skull involved somewhere in there, but I'm no anatomy expert, so that could be wrong. So here, old buddy's sad at the passing of Gina Gershon. That's four. I'm sad at the passing of Gina Gershon. I felt like the first time I saw this that was a bit of a um, the Psycho switch, the Tippi Hedren, the Drew Barrymore and Scream. So okay, so there's the title. We only saw four dead. We'll have to hear the stats later when they shout them out. Um, so there's the title at 13:37. So a long prologue there. And we start off with the YouTube replay of it. Fight Mart, Thanksgiving Massacre. And Thanksgiving is THX giving. I didn't think there was a cool, hip way to make Thanksgiving. I was wrong. I believe that's how it is on the font for the movie. Like with the title of the film where it says Thanksgiving, the K is like an X. So yes, Jen, I agree with you. Was the point to all that? Anthony says I was almost played Gomez Adams in Shakespeare Strum. Hopefully, I'll be in the Blu-ray. Well, that would be awesome. Gomez Adams, lucky. I almost went as my family almost went as the Adams family this year for Halloween. We were debating it. My son wanted to be Gomez, and his sister wanted to be Wednesday, and then my wife was going to be Morticia, and I was going to be Lurch. She says, my fave slasher last year was a film called Candyland. I didn't see Candyland. I would be interested in checking that out. Like I say, slashers kind of fell by the wayside. I watched, was it In a Violent Nature or whatever it's called? I watched that pretty recently, and that was decent, but it took its time. A lot of walking, a lot of walking. Hey man, good to see you again. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you, Mitch. Good to see you as well. I was thinking about you the other day when I saw a video that went by that was somebody that kind of looked like you with the hat, and I was like, "Oh, Mitch got a new video," and it was somebody else, and I was like, "I wonder how Mitch is doing." So I need to get back on Instagram and talk to the folks in the community I'd sort of built over there as well. So Mitch is one who I've met through Instagram, and we became friends here. So nice to have you, Mitch. Mitch is super cool. He's into all the fun stuff, horror movies, wrestling, all that. Not a cinematic masterpiece, not that it was meant to be or anything, but it's a fun watch. Yeah, that's why I said I think upon the second watch, I'll probably enjoy it more, even though I'm watching it with you guys and not really listening to it. Um, the first time, like I say, all movies, to really appreciate them, you kind of need to see them two, maybe three times, which is sad. But the first time you're burdened by the plot, you like have to pay attention to what's going on. Who's this guy? Oh, that's her brother. Oh, all right. Oh man, they're mad because their little brother's dead. Oh, so you got to follow everything, so you don't get a chance to like soak up the movie, like the pacing of it, the jokes, the way the scenes look. Um, so that's why I thought this time I might enjoy it more. Uh, right away, I'm taken back by the cinematography is very good in it, like the color correction and everything. It's lots of teals and blue and oranges and um, the framing and everything is really good. So Eli Roth has definitely grown as a cinematic, a visual director, I should say. And I think this movie does a great job of pimping out these John Carver masks. Like if they own the right to that John Carver mask and they get money off of it at all, it's genius because that is an easy Halloween costume. You can get those anywhere. And it's basically just a takeoff on that anonymous Guy Fawkes mask thing. But it's creepy and weird and it allows for like multiple killers at a time and it does the thing that Scream does. So yeah, I think the Guy Fawkes mask was rather genius. Let's see here. Man's welcoming Jason. Everybody's welcoming Jason. We all love Jason. The man's coming here straight from Australia. That's a long trip to watch me watch a movie. The thing is, a waffle maker worth your life? Apparently. I mean, what's how much? Like, what's the deal on it? Is it like 30%? Is it like 60%? Is it like a $4 waffle iron that's normally 80? I need some deets. Oh, I don't talk about waffles. Um, Likewise, bro. I'll admit you rascally. I'll pinch your cheek. Yeah, waffles make me queasy now, Ninja. I kind of have an idea where that's coming from, and I don't want to know. I highly recommend Candyman, man. It's a film I feel went a lot of on other people's radar. Candyland, huh? Interesting. Man says the kills are insane in this movie. Yeah, the part, like I say, where Gina Gershon gets scalped and run over, I enjoyed that. There was one part where a guy, maybe it's a woman, gets killed by a garbage can, and that one kind of made me do the, like if it like all horror deaths, kind of like push your bounds of reality. Like they break the rules of physics and stuff. Like Michael Myers will pick somebody up and pin them against the wall and stick a knife in their chest, and then they'll just hang there. Well, in real life, like your, sternum would probably collapse and you'd fall over in a humpled mess and, all this. But, for the point of the movie, those physics work. So yeah, I kind of felt like that was in this movie, the garbage can scene. It pushed the law of physics for me. But a bunch of the ones in this are supposed to be memorable. I mean, you would expect Roth would have to try to do something memorable after being the hostile guy. And a lot of people found Cabin Fever really gross. Speaking of Cabin Fever, y'all ever see the remake of Cabin Fever? A, I can't believe they remade Cabin Fever. Why? Too, way too soon. Way too soon. Like it came out in, I don't know, 2015 or something. And it's like, it's not even like 15 years old. Like, what the hell? So I was very much anti the remake of Cabin Fever. And then I watched it and it's a shot for shot, word for word remake with different people. Just terrible. Just terrible. I don't know why they did such a thing. I mean, I know why Eli Roth did it. It was money. But I mean, I guess the idea was that the original Cabin Fever was so like indie and grungy looking that you needed to, make a prettier version. But no, no, no bueno. Thumbs down. Wait till you see Street Trash, man. I've been needing to watch Street Trash. Actually, I still have never seen it. Uh, my buddy Savage Zombie Reviews really hated that film, and I wanted to kind of watch that. And um, I don't know. It feels soon, maybe in the spring or shortly after the holidays. Maybe I'll try to get around to Street Trash. From what I hear, it's the type of movie that a first time watch is probably necessary. Uh, I might not do a pre watch, is what I'm saying. My reactions for that one might be the key to me watching it. Uh, Man says yes. She's also been hearing people saying good things about Candyland. JT, welcome, my friend. JT's horror discussions. Nice to see you, buddy. Um, I'm glad to have you here. JT is one of the only other people like me who's up in the middle of the night watching movies and doing stuff. JT's multi-talented with the music and he games on his channel and stuff. So he interviews cool people. JT's awesome. I recommend you check out his channel. Everybody here, I recommend you check out their channel. Mayann's the queen of horror. Jason's the king of horror from Down Under. Um, I have just pure skull, completely solid. Right? That's how I am. Like Bonk's Adventures. Like my head is basically like a thickened coconut. Uh, where yeah, people are saying hello to Mitch. Folks are saying hi to the people in the crowd. I like when everybody's nice to each other. This movie has a plot. I'm assuming you're talking about this Thanksgiving. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I appreciate the Scream aspect of it. It felt like they were trying to do a Scream kind of thing, but it fell into that Scream knockoff territory. Like I was mentioning, all those movies that came out in the late '90s and early thousands. Um, I think Final Destination is my favorite out of all of those that came out, where the green light for pretty young actors getting murdered was worth money again after Scream. So that we got I Know What You Did Last Summer, and all the other knockoffs of that type of movie. Oh my God, Ginger JT is army watch so much craziness. John Carver versus Guy Fawkes, right? I'd like to see that matchup. Is Celebrity Deathmatch still a thing on MTV with those claymation people? Um, says that it makes waffles so good you can kill for them, right? You really gotta love waffles. Where if you come home, you're like, I got a waffle maker. I had to kill some people, but I got a waffle maker. Um, K Solo Rivera, it's about time a podcast about movies. It looks friendly. I wish you luck. I think I would be a fan. Well, K Solo, that's very sweet of you to drop by and say that. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Is Candyland safe for work, Jen? I don't know. That sounds like, from what I hear, it's a good slasher, so probably not. So put it on. I've never seen an unbeatable deal where I might consider fighting to the death. We'll see what this Black Friday brings. Right? Like I know sometimes they'll have like, $50 big huge screen TVs or whatever, and it's like, I could see pushing over an old lady for one. Sometimes they have like, dollar physical media or something like that, or 3 for $5 or some nonsense. It's like, yeah, I could see getting violent over that, depending on the titles, obviously. The Myers kill will always bother me for that physics issue. I was more of a fan of the shotgun as a result. Yeah, well, horror movies in general, Jason Voorhees is forever doing stuff where it's like that wouldn't really happen, but when you watch it on screen, the suspension of disbelief, as they say, you just sort of accept, like, oh, that's all right. I think we're coming up on the garbage can kill actually, because here's the lady. Um, this movie is brutal, but definitely more tame than the original fake trailer. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, this movie originally started off. Thank you, Aaron, for bringing that up, and welcome. I don't know if I remember if I welcomed you or not. Um, yeah, this movie originally, when Grindhouse came out, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did a double feature, Death Proof and Planet Terror, and then in between the films, it was set up with fake trailers, and I recall there were four, maybe. Um, Sorry, John Carver just cut this woman in the hand. Yeah, I believe there was a Don't by, was that Edgar Wright, I think? Werewolf Women of the SS by Rob Zombie, the Thanksgiving, and then Machete. And Machete obviously became a movie like right away. And I always kind of wish they would make Don't, but Edgar Wright's way too busy to make Don't. And then Rob Zombie at this point should try to get the funding for Werewolf Women of the SS. I believe that's already a real film, but might as well just try to remake it. That one I enjoyed because when he said, and Sybil Danning, it was like, of course, Sybil Danning's in Werewolf Women of the SS. Um, so out of all those trailers, this one actually I thought was kind of the weakest. I thought Don't was really funny, and Machete obviously got its own movie, so it was great. But this one, it felt, like a throwback to 80s, cheap 80s horror, which was fun. But then when the movie came out, it's like I say, very glossy and pretty. It's not grindhousey. I thought this might even be kind of when I think that was one of the questions I asked of people who'd seen it. I'm like, is it intentionally bad footage? Like, is there grain to the film and bad splices of things? But I'm glad they kind of decided to make this a clean, pretty film instead of a tribute to the old school '80s cheapo direct-to-video films. Yeah, here's the part where John Carver hits this woman with a car. She goes running. This is all good stuff with the headlights chasing her and stuff. And there, yeah, he runs into she tries to jump into a dumpster and ends up the car runs into the dumpster, and while she's half in, half out, the lid of the dumpster comes down and cuts her in half. And it's like most dumpsters have plastic lids, and even if it did have a hard, sharp metal one, I don't think it would weigh enough to sever a human body all the way through. So, but the part where they take her lower torso and then shove it up on the star, where the star's going up the ass, I mean, that's heavy duty. I'll give them that. That's pretty metal. Um, Ginge, I believe Candyland deals with some sort of trafficking or women selling themselves. Oh, okay. Well, that's a good heads up if he's going to be trying to watch it at work. Um, yes, it's terrible. Um, I will never watch that remake ever. I'm assuming you're talking about the Cabin Fever one. Yeah, it's just absolutely awful. That kill from Myers bothered me the second movie 4. Cabin Fever remake was such an epic way, shot for shot, but worse in every way. Yeah, I kept thinking, I'm like, oh, you know what? I bet they polished up the script. I bet they made, got better cameras and they're going to do a whole thing. No, it's just the same old thing, except even like the one guy who drinks beer and he's like, shoots squirrels and all that, that dude, the comic relief guy. Like the second comic relief guy in the remake wasn't as good. None of the people were as good. I never thought I'd be like, I miss Ryder Strong, but I missed Ryder Strong. I don't know what to tell you. No point in it. I might watch Cabin Fever 2 and 3. Cabin Fever 2 is actually not bad. I never saw 3, but 2 made me laugh. I never saw Hostel 3 either. All I know is the remake had a lady who played Veronica in Riverdale. Okay, so yeah, see, I didn't learn about Riverdale till like 2 years ago or something. I was like, did you know there's a Archie show? People were like, yeah, Riverdale. Like, get the hell out of here, Jughead and all that. Um, I love the ending of the original Cabin Fever. Happy Wednesday, playing Swing Low. Yeah, I thought I just rented Cabin Fever as a, like, oh, it looks interesting. I need something. The cover was real grabbing with that cabin with the skull in it. Like the cover art for Cabin Fever is really good. Um, And then I just kind of rented it, and I think even on the back it says like Quentin Tarantino said it was the most original horror movie of whatever year, and um, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I thought it was a good way, much in the way I mentioned Final Destination earlier. It's a good way of having like a people getting picked off slasher type movie without an actual slasher. If you can make uh, the whatever in Final Destination, the I don't know, whatever it is, your destiny, I suppose is the easiest way to describe it, is the killer. Or in Cabin Fever, obviously the flu is the killer, and you're like, oh, they got it. That's the only thing I never liked about the Stand films, either the old school one or the new one that came out, the eight-parter or whatever with Whoopi Goldberg. They never really have the flu take long enough. Like, I feel like the world falling apart as everyone gets the flu and dies is a interesting movie. It's after the pandemic, they made a million of them, so it's a little played out now. But the point is, any way to make a slasher movie where you don't actually have an actual slasher, like people slowly getting picked off over the course of your movie, is always a good plot movie, a point. It just keeps the story going. Believe it or not, I kind of like Art the Clown. Yeah, Terrifier. You can't go wrong. I mean, he got popular for a reason. He's got an iconic look, and the third one's, I believe, some folks have already seen it. I haven't yet. The Christmas one. JT put a fave through the ringer with crazy movies. Um, Night, I'm going to find me a random British comedy and go to bed. Happy Turkey Day, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Echo. It's nice to have you here, buddy. It's always cool when the Eckman drops out. You having tacos for Thanksgiving? I bet he is. But yeah, you take care, Echo. Man says Echo's her butler. Good night, Echo. Um, Wow, shucks, thank you for the kind words, everyone. Glad to have you back, man. Thank you. I appreciate you here, JT. JT's the only other guy, like I say, up with me sometimes. If I'm not doing a show, I'll click. It's like JT's playing a video game or something cool. Let's see what he's up to, or cranking out some cool content with the music. He's got like, I don't know, he can play by ear or something. He's an amazing musician. I watched both Chud movies back to back in October last year. The first one we had Awesome Monsters, and the sequel sadly doesn't. Theme song is super catchy though. Bud the Chud. Yeah, I love original Chud. When I was a kid, that movie kind of blew my mind. It was very Twilight Zone-y, the whole cat caution, hazardous underground disposal, and then the reveal of Chud at the end, all that. But then part two is kind of a glorified zombie movie. It's like a comedy, um, but I don't know. A lot of people would say the first one's a comedy. Candyland, that's the 2024 movie. Yeah, I need to see it. Now you guys have really got me sold on Candyland. Um, I'll beat someone for a bit a copy of Dead Alive. Yeah, well, I'll, I'll bet someone bit for a copy of Dead Alive. That would make sense for sure. Ginger, maybe wait till you get home to watch Candyland. It's a great film, but the main characters are workers. Also, William Baldwin is fantastic, and I didn't realize William Baldwin was doing horror movies. I'm interested. Um, that makes me wonder if Candyland. Have you guys all seen the Maxine trilogy or whatever you want to call it, the X Pearl series of films? It makes me feel like that we'll get a little bit of salacious nudity type horror movies coming up, not sex stuff. That used to be a staple of video horror films. Australia doesn't have that kind of sale mentality. Most things go 50% off, but recent years they've been doing Black Friday weeks ahead. Yeah, most places, they start having Black Friday like the week before. The online deals are all the time. We're supposed to have Cyber Monday, coming up this Monday, but Cyber Monday's been going on all year round. Amazon has like 3 Prime Days a year. Um, Oh, I you Jen said she didn't mean to talk about Candyland so much. No, no, actually, I always like when folks, put me on new stuff, whether I end up liking it or not. I found out about Skinamarink through this chat. I found out about oh goodness, what's it called? Where Evil Lurks, When Evil Lurks, the foreign language one about the demons possessing people. That was fantastic. I like that one. That's one I learned about from the chat. So when folks get off and tell me a movie they to see or at least check out because I might find it interesting, I usually listen. So Candyland's now on the list. So thank you. I want to see a werewolf from the SS Nick Cage's Fu Manchu. What more could you want? Right? That's what I'm saying. That the out of those trailers that they put out, obviously Machete needed to be a movie, and Danny Trejo was made for that role, and that was like a perfect thing to watch. And I enjoyed the Machete films, but Don't, like I say, I thought looked really funny, but it's a kind of a one note joke. I'm not sure you can make a whole movie out of it. It works more as a trailer than an actual movie. Um, and then this one, it felt like, I don't know, a trailer you would see at the beginning of an old school VHS, or like, just a total grindhouse cheapo type film. The part with the girl on the trampoline with the knife, I believe they recreate that in this. Um, that I think that's probably the most memorable part of the Thanksgiving trailer. But the Werewolf Women of the SS, I would like to see. Like I say, Rob Zombie's his career's floundering at the moment, so I imagine he would probably do really well with that. I kind of wish the killer went with the full pilgrim outfit, like in the trailer, as opposed to just the hat and the mask. The mask is a good addition, though. Yeah, yeah. The mask is, like I say, it's incredibly smart marketing. The same way the ghost face mask became iconic. Like I have a feeling the John Carver mask will fall into that because it's such a cheap mask. You can have it at any Halloween costume store. And Spirit Halloween probably had a bunch of them this year. I didn't get to make it to a Spirit this year, but I imagine that mask was probably pretty easy to find. Three-head melty zombies. Of course you can, Mr. President. Oh, that's right. Jason's the president of Australia, for those of you who aren't familiar. Ginger, we definitely need to get a werewolf woman of the SS and don't. Yeah, the werewolf woman of the SS, I for sure want to see. Like I said, for some reason I think that's actual maybe a real movie. Like I don't know. I mean, like from the 70s or something. I swear I've noticed it was snowing in this scene. Yeah, here's old buddy who I was talking about, Tim Dillon, the comedian. He's part of the Joe Rogan circle. So if you're a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast or any of that stuff, you might be familiar with Tim Dillon. He's kind of a edgy, push the boundaries comic. I've never seen his stand up, but like I said, I've seen him interviewed and I've seen him in lots of roasts and things like that. But this is the guy with the cat. That's one of the things I kept hearing about this movie is people are like, no, John Carver's a likable killer because he's nice to the cat. Of course, my buddy Larry, the horror cat dad, he loved that. Hey, Russell is here. Tex, nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. I was over at his channel earlier. You guys were watching what? Blood Rage? Is that what was going on? He had a mystery meat film, which is really a great idea. He had um no title in it, and then he put the link up top. Um, so yeah, him and Cinephile Sanity, Sean and Juno 2000, and Villainous Vixen, Jen were all there. It was nice to. There was a good crew. People all saying hi to Texas. I gotta head up as I'm getting a race video before the Christmas content starts. So thanks for this, dude. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mitch, my friend. You have a good weekend. I don't know. Is there some sort of wrestling pay-per-view or something on Thanksgiving? Survivor Series used to be every Thanksgiving. It was a Thanksgiving night tradition, but then they got rid of it, and then Thanksgiving weekend they usually have something. So I don't know. Is there a pay-per-view this weekend? Mitch is a wrestling fan, and geek culture fan across the board. He likes all the horror, all the cult films. He's a cool guy. Folks are saying hi to Texas. Like I said, he's wonderful. Um, Sean X still need to watch, or Scene X still need to watch the others. Sean, what's wrong with me? Yeah, Scene X still need to watch the others. I still haven't seen Maxine. It's on Max right now. I've been meaning to catch it, but I've seen X and Pearl. Um, so here, John Carver's killing Tim Dillon. Um, It was weird. I went to a historical town in Wisconsin, and the like history of the town was on one of those placard deals, next to a river, real pretty. And I was reading it, and it's like this town was discovered and founded by the famous explorer John Carver. I was like, get the hell out of here! Apparently, that guy got around. So maybe the sequel could be in Wisconsin. So there's where John Carver stabs the guy with the electric knife. Those things are gaudy. Like it's too much. You know what I mean? Like a regular knife is fine, but then the electric knife. Like I understand if you got to cut through some tough parts, but geez. The extra trilogy is decent. I did want to like Maxine more, but that was my least favorite of the three. I'm interested in it just because the cast, like the Giancarlo Esposito, Kevin Bacon stuff, and then because I've seen the other two, just as a completionist, I feel like I should see part three. But um, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. If you like when evil lurks, watch Terrified. don't think I've seen Terrified. Well, I'll need to then. See, once again, the chat keeping me up on stuff, and the other people who watch this learn about stuff too. Here, X, Maxine, Pearl, in that order. What's your ranking of the trilogy? Like I say, I haven't seen Maxine yet, so right now, I thought I thought Pearl was slightly well. That's tough. That's tough because X has its own charm. Like the kids going out to the cabin to make the horror movie, well, the farmhouse to make the sex movie. Sorry, I was Tim Dillon's head was on the turkey plate. I looked up and was like, what the hell? Um, so the whole porno thing of the first one is interesting with the old people being mad at the young people because they can still have sex and all that. I thought that was like kind of a psychologically interesting plot for a horror movie. And then part two, the Pearl, she's sort of a wackadoo, and that's the whole point. It's like, oh, that Pearl, she crazy. That's kind of the whole point of the movie. And then Maxine, looks interesting to me because it has like the '80s excess kind of stuff. But I don't know. I need to check out Maxine before I can give you a for sure a fair assessment of them all. I should say. For sure it is, Ginger. Night mentioned, yeah, what May said, when you know Lurks and Terrified are both excellent. Yeah, I need to see Terrified then. Um, like I said, I love the folks in the chat are usually into the same things I am. That's why they're watching, so they put me up on stuff that I would like to see. Considering that they're making a new scary movie, I could totally see them doing that scene where someone's hiding under the bed from X for a joke. Yeah, I can't, I just found out now they're making a new scary movie. I'm this many seconds old when that happened. Yeah, that's interesting. They're remaking Scary Movie, huh? I mean, it just seems like you could do anything like that. There's so many knockoffs of Scary Movie with Not Another Teen Movie and Epic Movie and Superhero Movie and just that whole corner of the movie world. But the idea that they would take that title and use it again, that goes to show you like the Hollywood marketing. People always get mad at remakes and reboots and stuff. And I just always say that's the business aspect of movies. Every movie you have to think of as a product. Why would anybody put all this money into making it if there wasn't going to be some sort of return? So they have to think of something that's going to sell to people. And if you try to make something like Scary Movie, but call it something different, not enough people are familiar with it. Eventually they're going to remake Jaws or something like that. And we're all going to be like, why? And it's like, well, it's just everybody knows the name Jaws. You don't have to precondition the audience. They all know Killer Shark. Um, JT says Pearl, then X, then Maxine. Okay, that seems fair. Uh, Dark and the Wicked is amazing as well. I've never seen that one. I will make a note to that one. Dark and the Wicked. Um, there's Ilsa, she wolf of the SS. That's not a werewolf, sadly. Oh, that is terrible, Aaron. You crushed me. I'm crestfallen by all this. Yes, Don, it was Blood Rage. Okay, see, I didn't click the link, but I kind of heard what you guys were talking about, and I figured it was Blood Rage. Um, for those of you who aren't familiar, there's a whole swath of Thanksgiving horror movies out there. After Carpenter's success of Halloween, they just made all sorts of holiday horror films, and in the Thanksgiving category, Blood Rage was kind of the all-time classic for a long time, the winner, best made one. Um, but then now I think this was probably overtaken at Thanksgiving. No disrespect to the turkey and Thanksgiving though. Survivor Series War Games on Saturday. Okay, see, yeah, there you go. Survivor Series, Thanksgiving night tradition. So Tex knows. Yes, Tex at the dark and the wicked scared me to death. Dark and the wicked. See, people are saying it. There you go. They got me as well. I'll check into it. There was a John Carver in Wisconsin. Wild, right? Oh, I love this in the movie that I'm not watching. Um, well, I'm watching. I'm just not talking about it. I love the part where the dude who's like the dreamy boy in class stands up and he reads his heartfelt, emotional thing, and there's all these girls who are so just crestfallen over him, and then at the end he cries and he lifts up his shirt to show an 8-pack of abs. He's like, oh. It's it's good stuff because normally they would have women in that role. So to flip flop it and have it be the dude and have the girls all fawning over him is just kind of funny and it's a good updated twist on a classic trope. Folks everywhere agreeing that The Dark and the Wicked is worth seeing. LOL, Kava, right? Kava's problem. Park the car in the yard. Definitely not talking like that in Wisconsin. Oh yeah, there, eh? It's John Carver. He came through here a couple months ago. He's a good guy. Probably not. I have no idea how they pronounce his name. John Carver. He's a good guy. It's not a remake. It's a rebooting. Oh, okay. Thank goodness. Are they doing the same old gig, I wonder? Or like, are they going to reboot Scary Movie where they just took Scream and almost made it shot for shot? That's what got us in this whole mess. Uh, when Scream came out and it was such a huge success, Scary Movie came out and they just went like plot for plot point. Like it was almost like we were saying about Cabin Fever. They just remade the same movie, but then they just added a bunch of jokes. And it was so actionable legally that it was determined that they'd be better off just making Wes Craven a producer than making the movie unless Wes Craven sue them for everything they made because it was such a ripoff of Scream. So that's how we ended up with Scary Movie being Scary Movie and Wes Craven being attached to it and all. It's because it was just such a blatant ripoff of Scream. Man's excited for the reboot. Well, like I say, I don't know. Is it the Wayans brothers again? I hate to say it. I'm anti Wayans brothers. The old school Wayans brothers, Keenan Ivory and Damon, they're good. I like all their stuff. Well, most of their stuff. But the young Wayans, the Sean and Marlon or whatever, in general, most movies I don't like of theirs. Don't get what was it? Don't be a menace while sipping your gin and juice in the hood. I think that was probably their best one. Everything else they're attached to, I'm like, uh-oh. If they make Jaws, they're catching hands, right? Killer Shark. Dun, dun, dun. I saw a video where someone argued that Doofy from Scary Movie was the best Ghostface because he had the highest kill count of them all, and he actually got away with it. I mean, I guess everybody's allowed to say have their own opinion. It's just some people's opinions are wrong. Andy Richter may play the shark. I'm in. I'm in. Um, did they already remake Jaws? They called it Cruel Jaws. I think they called it Sharknado. I think they called it Shark Week. Um, let's see. Yeah. It's not actually Jaws, but I guess you're right, Jason. Um, a land shark with a hand puppet shark. Nice. I've never seen Big Killer Shark nor Mutated or Big Killer Animal movies, but there's a handful, but not really my subgenres. Yeah, that's one of those where if you got a shark thing, there's plenty of movies for you to see. Or same with the mutant animals in general. I like the bizarre mutant animal movies, like Frogs and Night of the Lepus. Is that what it's called? With the giant rabbits, and it's just absurd. You can tell they took real bunnies and let them run through models. It's hilarious. I love it. Hey, Ben Grimm is here. Speaking of Craven, have you seen Nightmare Shark? It's basically Nightmare on Elm Street if you replace Freddy with a shark. Even does the bathtub scene with the shark fin instead of a claw coming up her legs. Now you've got me intrigued. Once again, someone from the chat hitting us with an awesome movie to find out. Ben, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. Ben's always welcome in the chat. He's got plenty of info and knowledge, and when I can't remember stuff, he's always there for me. Ben, let me find out about that shark, about that Ben. Cruel Jaws is an unofficial Jaws 5. Yes, Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Great movie. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. When that one came out, I had a lot of hope for them. Um, there's a movie called I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, which is just brilliant. And that's the older Wayans, the Keenan Ivory and them and that's just a fantastic movie. So and I thought the Don't Be a Menace was basically in that same wheelhouse. But then by the time they started doing Scary Movie and what's the one they did that's basically Paranormal Activity, and then they had one that was like 50 Shades of Grey, and it's like you guys need to knock it off. Peace out all right, take it easy, Ginger. See you, buddy. Glad to have you here. It's probably it's time to leave work. See you, Jason. There's a Chinese movie called Land Shake. It was a funny horror movie. Night, Ginger. I'm gonna head out to happy Thanksgiving. Everyone have a great night. You too, JT. Happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy. Enjoy that turkey. Hope you have a good night, my friend. Folks are saying bye to JT and to Ginger. So here's the scene, the one that keeps it true to the trailer. As I was complaining before, the original, like when they made Machete, it has a grindhousey feel to it. They move past that pretty quick in the movie, but they do the same type of things like they did in Grindhouse. So when they were going to make Thanksgiving, I wondered, is it going to have that same like you know just crappy film, bad editing, cigarette burns, all that stuff. So when it didn't stay true to that, I wondered if there's where the guy gets his head turned around. That's another thing physics wise in movies and horror movies they do all the time. You can It's really hard to twist someone's head around. I've tried it before. It's very difficult. Um, so there's the part where the cheerleader jumping on the trampoline has the big Bowie knife come up through the trampoline and she jumps down on it. Although in the trailer for the Grindhouse trailer, they have the like she does like the splits in the air and comes down where the knife goes up inside her in a suggestive way. Here it's more it hits her in the foot and then she falls down on it sideways. I think that's probably to avoid kind of violence against women, misogyny accusations. Eli Roth, I think, as I recall, he's one of those people. After he got famous, he partied for a while, and I think at that point he kind of got a few bad. I don't think he was ever accused of anything, but there was always rumors of him just being a little too out there. So I imagine he's pretty sensitive to not getting too much in trouble. Um, Sharks of the Corn is bad but fun also. Yeah, I would like to see Sharks of the Corn. I saw what's it called? Bad CGI Sharks or whatever, where the CGI sharks escape from the computer and chase the people around the house. That was a fun one. Super cheap, super cheap. Shark, not shake. Hit the wrong letter. I figured it was shark after I said it. I was like, wait a minute. Made me look at the keyboard to see where the E and the R were. Thanks everyone. You too. Yeah, have a good night, JT. Stephen Kang's Sharks of the Corn. Uh, aren't we all a little too out there? Oh, I'm way too out there. That's part of my problem. It's like, what's wrong with you, boy? Well, I'm too out there. It was weird. There was kind of a resurgence in grimy horror in the mid 2000s, well, I guess late to thousands, um, where Rob Zombie had the House of a Thousand Corpses, and then later the Devil's Rejects. And then Eli Roth with Cabin Fever and Hostel, and I think James Wan had just kind of come onto the scene and stuff. And within all that, they've developed this people called the Splat Pack. I think they were. It's the old takeoff on whenever there's a group of people in Hollywood, they lump them together and call them some sort of pack. Uh, After um, Frank Sinatra's Rat Pack, they used to call his group with Sammy Davis and all them, Dean Martin. So then there was the Brat Pack in the 80s. And then yeah, there was the Splat Pack. And there was all these like influx of young horror directors that turned up in the early thousands. Um, yeah, Nightmare Shark is a little third entry in the unofficial trilogy because it brings back characters from these films called Damn Sharks and Trailer Park Sharks. Wow. I'm intrigued by both of those. Damn Sharks and Trailer Park Sharks. You boy, what day is this? Don't you Scrooge me. Welcome, Gareth. My friend Video Tasties is here. Gareth is always hilarious and amazing. I saw you were doing a live stream about video game magazines today. I like it. I like mixing it up a little bit. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's an intriguing twist on an old classic. Folks are saying hello to Gareth. Got a good crew in here with my boy Russell, Texas, as we call him around here, Tex, and Gareth, Sir Gareth, as well as the Queen of Horror, man. Oh, John Carver. Jen's Graveyard is here. So yeah, this is kind of classic horror stuff. The killer running through the hallways of the high school. Like there's just something about those long hallways with those little dinky metal lockers that really gives long perspective and is good for a chase scene. It re-illustrates that the people in the movie are in high school, even though they look like they're in their late 20s. Yeah, I'll try not to spoil it, but one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way with this movie is the same way that up front they did like the Gina Gershon thing, the Psycho Switch, where you introduce Drew Barrymore in Scream and then you kill her off in like 5 minutes, and everybody's like, "Whoa, anything can happen in this movie." They'll kill the biggest star right to start. Um, and here they also kind of go with an unfortunate trope in horror movies where it you know who the killer is by their acting stature. Like out of the people in this movie hanging out, there's only one that is like a star, like someone people would recognize or know, from classic movies. And it's like, well, they wouldn't go to the trouble of being in a movie like this unless they had a big role. So the idea that, person that has a whole bunch of acting credits would just play a bit part in a teen horror movie is pretty unlikely. So it kind of gives you a tip off. Occasionally they'll throw the red herring at you, and that's what I thought this movie was going to do. But no, sure enough, it turned out to be who I thought it was going to be from basically the whole movie. Thanks. Got hundreds of mags to go through. Yeah, I have a bunch of old school Cinescapes and famous monsters of Filmland and Fangorias. And I had thought about, doing a video about it. When I saw you doing a live stream, I thought that's actually really a smart way to handle that because you can talk to other people about what you got. They can ask questions. If somebody needs you to back up and show them something. If you, so it's better format than just a regular edited video. So kudos to you for cracking the code, good sir. Dang. What are you danging about? The knife up the hoo-ha, probably. Sometimes when somebody will leave a comment, I'll have to retrack in my mind. What the hell was I talking about that would have caused that reaction? I find all the actors in this do a good job, and like I say, this looks really good. And Thanksgiving, it was in need of a big time film for people to attach with it. Blood Rage is kind of a underground hit. It's more of a cult film. Same with Home Sweet Home. Same with Thanksgiving. I'm a fan of one called Pilgrim. It's on Hulu right now. We were talking about it the other night. It's a Blumhouse made these like movie for every holiday kind of thing for Hulu, and I believe they handled two different Thanksgivings. And one of them was like kind of a father-daughter thriller, mystery murder kind of thing. And then the other one was Pilgrim, and Pilgrim was very good. Kind of fun, something different. I actually, as far as a scary movie for Thanksgiving, as of right now, I'd probably watch Pilgrim over this, but I am enjoying this the second time. I'm hoping for more like catchy, memorable dialogue and whatnot. That's usually what makes a film. Um, when you watch it two, three times, there has to be scenes and lines of dialogue that jump out at you that you remember. You catch yourself mumbling in day-to-day life. The biggest 90 star Gina face was Face Off and Stripper movie. Yeah, yeah, she was also in Face Off, like you say, and I believe she was what in Showgirls. Um, about the magazines is what she was danging about. For some reason, there's an edit of Nightmare Shark called Curse of the Dream Witch, where they replace the shark with a witch and the scenes with fins bursting out of their water with spooky hands. Nightmare Shark called Curse of the Dream Witch. Huh, interesting. We need an Arbor Day slasher. I actually made one, Ben. When I was taking some film classes in school and I was trying to learn how to do things, I tried to think of a horror day that they didn't have one for. And Arbor Day is what I came up with. And I found the footage on an old tape, and I've been meaning to cut together a trailer or something for it. There's clips of it on my channel when you go uh, there's an introduction video on my channel. I talk about some of the films I made and learned about filmmaking, and there's clips of Arbor Day in there. A guy goes to chop down a tree, and the tree attacks him. But yeah, I agree. There does need to be one. Um, what movie did y'all watch today? Texas? I was busy and couldn't make it. I could see a lumberjack killer. There you go. That would work too. Have a great Thanksgiving. Pilgrim was good. Hey, Texas, you have a great night, Russell, and you enjoy that turkey and cranberry and what have you. I'm a big fan of the stuffing. I always like the stuffing. I shouldn't be eating all that breading and carbs, but damn it, I love a good stuffing. Please don't clip that me saying I love a good stuffing. I actually watched Pilgrim today. Oh, okay. See, Ben always knows what's up. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Ben knows what's up. Yeah, Pilgrim's fun. It's fun because the girl in it has a character arc, and I find the whole like snooty rich people doing something that they think is quaint and it backfires. I mean, I kind of like all of that. I don't know, it works. It was Blood Rage. Yeah, they were watching Blood Rage earlier. Earlier this year, they released a slasher called Founders Day. It kind of felt like a rip off of this. I saw it advertised for Founders Day. I never watched it though. Um, I would maybe take a gander at Founders Day. I'll give most things a chance, especially if someone else has watched them first. If someone can be like, "Yeah, I watched it. It's terrible," and it's like, "Oh, okay, I may check it out still," but I just like to know someone else jumped in the pool first. If I'm not mistaken, there's a movie that touches on that, but Ben, I forgot the name. Folks are saying good night, Texas. Another modern movie I've seen, but this must be a dream. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, welcome, my friend Matt. As I mentioned earlier, the me and Horror Cat Dad and Matt Pugwell 316 comprise hashtag 3BB, three bland bitches. So shout out to my bland homie Matt. Happy American Thanksgiving to you. Stuff yourself in my honor. There's a movie called Arbor Day from 1990. There you go. Is it okay? So Bloodfest from 2018 has that lumberjack arbor killer. Okay, Bloodfest from 2018. Interesting. But has that lumberjack arbor killer. Wow. See how some things just write themselves? And then they ran as a spoof in 2018 or 2019, I think. Okay, that would make sense. So now they're going to old buddy to buy the guns because they know they need one. And they find like this kind of like Fonzie character. He's like a dude who's kind of older and parties with the young kids and somehow still a bit of a creep, but not too bad of a creep. But he's got awesome movie posters. He's got Krull and the Charles Bronson Death Wish. But I enjoy this plot point though that most movies, they're caught wherever they're caught. When Michael Myers is loose, hardly anybody's like, go to Jeremy's dad's house. He's got a gun there. Nobody. They just end up getting stabbed in a field or whatever. So in this, once they realize folks are getting picked off, it's like we need us a pistol. Mm. I thought Founders Day was fine. I remember the dad from Boy Meets World was in it. Shout out to Boy Meets World. That's the second mention of that show tonight with me talking about Ryder Strong. Uh, Matt points out that Lay had a cool pop-up stream yesterday. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. She was going through some physical media. She's looking to maybe move. She was going telling stories about whether or not she liked the film. She had an awesome King Diamond shirt on. I thank you, Pogo. I will. I thank you for that. Means a lot to me. Uh, thank you. Welcome. There's a horror film called Road Games, which is about a truck driver being stalked by a killer after he witnessed him burying something in the desert. I've always wanted to see Road Games. I'm a big fan of The Hitcher with C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer, and people tell me I would like Road Games. Is that Jamie Lee Curtis? I can't remember who's in Road Games. Co-stars Jamie Lee Curtis as a hitchhiker named Hitch. There you go. Yeah, I believe Road Games has been on my Tubi to watch list before. One of my favorite games is just scroll through Tubi and just add it to my watch list. My watch list is like as long as a regular page on Tubi. So we're at the, let me get you a timestamp here for folks. I'm at the 102 mark, 1 hour and 2 minutes into the movie. This one is, well, it's got 44 minutes left. So, an hour and 46, I guess. Um, this movie was a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, and that's what I gave it, was a 6 out of 10. I think that's kind of harsh. I could see myself even giving it a 7 out of 10. There needs to be more degrees. I'm thinking a high 6, maybe a low 7, more a high 6. So here's the awesome scene where the girl is sticking a Q-tip in her ear and cleaning out her ear, and they show it real close, so it gives you the creeps. And then dude pops up behind her and just jams, what is it, like two pencils or two ear, like hair barrettes or something in her ear. And then he uses the um, video chat to let her friends see that he's there, and it's the corn on the cob holders. That's what it is. So as I say, this one was a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb and 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, 63% on Metacritic. Um, it's an average of 3.3 out of 5 on Google. Let's see if we can find out the budget. I always like to see the budget and how much it made. Budget was 15 million, box office 46.6. So it basically made 3 times its money back. So you need to make double your money back to be called a success, and this was 3 times its money back. So that's a success. Good for them. So now here's the part where Carver is using the video on the phone to show that he's got other people held hostage. So the heroes in this can't shoot him. And even when they try to, they realize the damn safety's on the gun because they're inexperienced at guns. And he throws a girl down on the table saw and it cuts her finger off, and then she like collapses because her hand's all cut up, and then falls forward on, and it just completely slices up in her insides, and her intestines are all hanging out and everything. This one, another one that defies actual real life physics, but believable and fun. You know, you got a girl in a velour jumpsuit the whole movie with her booty bouncing, and the next thing you know, her guts are laying all over the floor. It's like, sheesh. See, Thomas Howell. I seen him. The Hitcher, the original one, is great. Yeah, I still have never seen the remake with who is it, Jake Busey or something. Love films like that. Duel, yeah. What's that? Dennis Weaver. That's Steven Spielberg's first. I believe it's his first. Actually, well, his first is like a Night Gallery or a Columbo or something like that. But then, yeah, a Duel, pretty awesome. That and remake of Duel starring Jewel. Ooh, that would make me drool. And a mule. Oh, don't be a fool. Keeping it old school. These films, these film ideas are all. We love that. Of course, Lay does. If Lay loves that for us, that means it's good. Liv, welcome, Liv Style Rewind. Fun lady with good, smart things to say. Welcome, Liv Style Rewind. I'm glad to have you here. This show is intended for the folks who, like me, have spent their lives up in the middle of the night. So that's part of how I fell in love with movies and where my movie, you know, for some reason, movies were always a big deal to me my whole life. But then once they were there for me when I was awake and everybody else was asleep, me and movies really developed a lifelong friendship. Some people, I like music, but some people love music. I love movies. Like I'll put movies on in the background to keep me company. And so lots of folks like me who are just up in the middle of the night, can't sleep, laying there watching a movie. It just feels like my whole life. If I wrote an autobiography, it'd be like, and then I couldn't sleep, so I watched Evil Dead 2. Live, we meet again. Next of Kin was a good horror film, the 1982 Australian horror one, not the 1980 American action movie. Yeah, isn't Next of Kin Patrick Swayze, I think. I never saw the Australian one. Australia's always got good movies. There's uh, that documentary all about the crazy Australian horror movies and things that are called um, Ozploitation instead of exploitation. They call them Ozploitation. So here's where we start to get the idea that this John Carver mask can be a real problem because they're having a Thanksgiving Day parade and there's all sorts of John Carver masks. John Carver. Folks are welcome and live, of course. Please do. It's one of the things I always like about the folks who hang out in these chats. That's kind-hearted, good people who are nice to one another and behave well. And I have good moderators that throw the jerks out in the blink of an eye. So I got digital bouncers, yo. So here's my man Rick, what's his name? That later on, uh, well, it's coming up for his demise. Let me see what I can find out about Thanksgiving. Uh, Rick Hoffman. I'm sorry, I just saw it. Um, in 2023, TriStar acquired the rights to the film. Thanksgiving was released in the United States on November 17th of last year. The film was released in India as Bloody Thanksgiving. It was released in digital platforms on December 19th. So it was literally 1 month from the theater to Blu-ray. Oh, I'm sorry, on digital platforms the 19th, and then on January 30th for Blu-ray and DVD. And then it was on Netflix beginning February 17th. That's about the time on Into House Larry and I were talking about it because I wanted to see it when it was at the theater, but I never got around to it. And folks kept telling me how great it was, and it was everybody. Like it was almost like unanimous decision that this movie's fun. You need to check it out. So I had high expectations for it that it really couldn't live up to. But on the whole, I'm enjoying silliness of certain parts this time around more. Frequently taken back by how good the cinematography is. And see here, I was going to look and see reception. At the box office, it grossed 31.9 in the United States and Canada and 14.6 in other territories. So that's pretty good to have an American holiday make 14.6, at the theater. Um, Thanksgiving was released alongside Next Goal Wins, Trolls Band Together, and The Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It was projected to gross 12 to 15 in the theaters, but made 10.4. Made 7.2 in its second week, 2.6 in its third, and it was released in 511 weekend theaters. Critical response: 84% of critics on Rotten Tomato like it. Thanksgiving is a feast for Grindhouse fans because, of course, it is. Um, the sequel, that's what I wanted to see. In November 2023, Roth announced that his Instagram page that a sequel had been greenlit for 2025. So next year, 2 months later, Neil Verloc and Rick Hoffman said they believed they would return for a sequel. In August 2024, Roth stated that co-writer Jeff Rendell were about to hand the final script to the studio, and Addison Rae was expected to return as Gabby. Here's the awesome scene where there's this guy dressed up in a turkey suit, and John Carver is like dressed up as like a clown or something. And he's dressed up like a clown mixed in with the parade. And he hits this dude with a baseball bat, just knocks his head off clean. Like you just see the decapitated head inside the turkey head. And there's the Final Destination 3 kill where the plank of wood comes through the car window and busts through the guy's skull. And it is just a torrent of blood just spilling all over these pilgrims. That's, I mean, if you got a sick sense of humor, that's funny. So yeah, he's looking like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And he's just, yeah, throwing smoke grenades around. He's just turned this into a straight terrorist event. Not Quite Hollywood is the Oz doc. Yeah, exactly. That's the one I was trying to remember. Not Quite Hollywood. And they explain like how there's not as many regulations as in the U.S., so they would just do the craziest car stunts because it's like, hey, and just basically putting people's lives at risk because there aren't the same union laws and everything there. Aaron Kelly says he needs to rewatch the Patrick Swayze one, next of kin. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Swayze, when I was young, I didn't like him, and then because of Roadhouse and Point Break, he sort of lives like a soft spot in my heart. Now I go back and whenever I see him in anything, Ghost even, I'm just like, oh, that Patrick Swayze, I love him. I could definitely see this movie either getting a sequel based off how good it did. Yeah, but at the same time, it could be like My Bloody Valentine, The Prowler, which is a good standalone slasher with a cool looking killer. Yeah, I'm surprised that My Bloody Valentine doesn't have more like a following than it does. Like that's one to me, one of the things I judge by a horror killer, like the iconic slashers, is how likely are you to see them at a Halloween party or like at a costume party? Like you'll for sure see Michael Myers, you'll for sure see, Ghostface and Jason, and you'll see people dressed up as Chucky and have some sort of Chucky something going on with them. Every now and then you'll see a Pinhead, but like you almost never see Candyman or Um, you never see the Prowler, or you never see the Miner from My Bloody Valentine. Um, so how iconic it is in, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I just mentioned. You start seeing more and more of that. That's one that has been turning up lately. And I feel like John Carver could be in that boat. Like, I feel like, especially if the sequel does well, that mask and that outfit could just be a quick, cheapo Halloween costume. You buy it at, some drugstore and go home and throw it on. You're John Carver for the night. So their Carver now is he set his mask down on top of a hot piece of machinery and it melted half of it, so it's even more spooky and iconic. It's kind of like how Jason's mask gets damaged over the course of all the movies, and you can keep track of like, oh, okay, at this point is where he got hit in the face with a machete or a tomahawk. So we are a half hour left in the film. Um, Yeah, this one has been living on Netflix forever. I watched it. Yeah, it came out around Valentine's Day. I think I actually remember watching it on Valentine's Day weekend. I was like, I miss uh, watching a good horror movie on a holiday. And I was like, well, I suppose we'll watch Thanksgiving on Valentine's Day. Yeah, thank goodness. The audio for that damn is probably ruined because that damn compressor on that fridge. Sounds like a damn cars driving by. So yeah, here they're in the factory, and he's stalking the woman in the pilgrim suit. I like that at this point now, all the main characters are pretty much wearing pilgrim suits. It gives it a very Thanksgiving-y feel. Surprised nobody in this movie got stuffed. Like that feels like a natural. Like at one point, he was basting the woman. He's like, painting her with butter with the brush and putting salt on her and stuff. So I'm assuming that's his plan. Candyman is kind of tricky because you need to be a black guy with an expensive looking jacket and a hook. It's not a very wide range for people to dress as, right? But I suppose you could probably dress like, I don't know, put some bees all over you, but then maybe you might be mistaken for Nicolas Cage Wicker Man. But like, like Leprechaun. You don't see a lot of Leprechaun. If nothing else, then maybe most people just aren't short enough to be recognizable. They just look like a regular spooky uh, 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 Leprechaun. I was trying to think of if they had some other name. I was stuck on Lucky Charms. Beads, beads, beetles, or bees? No, bees, bees. I was so you had me confused. Bees, bees, bees. Not the beads. So yeah, we're doing the classic horror thing. This woman's being chased by John Carver, and she just keeps encountering bodies. Like as far as horror tropes go, I feel like you kind of got to work that into every slasher movie to make it fun. You just sort of stumble upon this guy's dead body, and you open a closet, and that guy's in there hanging, and you see the carnage that's been going on that you haven't been seeing. Effective way to add the body count without actually wasting screen time of plot and story on it. Good night. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Don, for doing these awesome streams. There's always a blast. Jen, thank you so much for dropping by. I recommend you guys check out Jen's reviews from the grave. She is a sweet, kind woman and very funny and knowledgeable. I enjoy her very much. So thank you for hanging out. And happy Thanksgiving to you. What do you guys do for Thanksgiving? Are you a turkey person? I'm a turkey guy for Thanksgiving. Some folks make ham. Um, I enjoy the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, I usually have loose corn, not the corn on the cob, but the corn on the cob works. I feel like you kind of have to have corn with Thanksgiving. Out of all the veggies, corn. A lot of folks like the green bean casserole with the mushroom soup and the little onion thingies on top and all that. What about you guys? Are you yams or sweet potatoes? Personally, I like the sweet potato, but tomorrow one of the aunts is making the yam casserole, the candy yams. So I'm looking forward to that with the marshmallows in it and all that. And Mr. Bones is here. He says Boglins because of course he does. Hashtag Boglins, my friend. Nice to see you, Bonesy. Yeah, I was shouting you out earlier and tell people to drop by and check out your broadcast last night of Black Friday. Did you enjoy it? I've never seen Black Friday. I want to. I'm a big Bruce Campbell mark, and it's a bummer to me I haven't seen it. I like creamy corn. I like cream corn too, but that's an acquired taste. There's some folks who do not like it. It's a little pukey for a lot of folks, but I like it. It's got a little something to it. It's different than their other corn. But if you got good, you know, my uh, future stepfather, I guess he would be my mom's fiance. He makes sweet corn, and it's really good. So shout out to Tom's Sweet Corn. It's good stuff. Um, but that's corn on the cob. Uh, I like loose corn. I don't know what other vegetables would people eat on Thanksgiving? Carrots? I don't know. Whatever's stuck in a cornucopia in some picture. Speaking of slasher movies with killer looking killers, Stage Fright from '87 and Stage Fright 2014. They aren't connected aside from the title and genre, but the killers look great. Well, you was invited. I know I was invited. I was wet. I didn't get home from work till 11:30, and when I came in and ate, I plopped down and I went to put it on, and you were already done. So I ended up watching Lay for a little bit. Um, I put her on while I did things in the background, so she was keeping me company, her and her physical media. But I apologize, Bones. I know you give me an open invitation to be on your show. For those of you who'd like to see Bones and I together, we've done multiple shows. Feel free to check out his channel and see all sorts of good stuff. Who else was Mr. Bones? I think during your break you realized you weren't as cool as you. We realized you weren't as cool as you saw. LOL. No, I don't know about all that, Bones. I think you guys are kind of the cool one. You let me hang out. I'm a bit of a tool, but I appreciate the love and affection. You are the man, Bones. Stuffing, mashed potatoes, and gravy are my favorite. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I like the. We're having cheesy potato casserole tomorrow, and I was debating. I think I might actually make some extra mashed potatoes over the weekend to go with the leftover turkey and stuff. Turkey on first, like when you eat turkey on a plate, just sliced with a little bit of gravy on it, not bad. It's all right. It's part of the Thanksgiving meal. But that turkey sandwich for 2 or 3 days later, uh, boner alert. So yeah, the Bones Man is here. Serply, slurp slap. Boy, it messed up here. Oh, speaking of you two, I for the first time in my life, about a week or two ago, I tried Chick-fil-A sauce. Right? It seems like I would have had it a bunch before, but no. So now every time I take it out of the fridge, I'm like Chick-fil-A sauce. My wife asked me the other day, she's like, I'm making some tater tots. What do you want with it? And she's like, you know what'd probably be good? Chick-fil-A sauce. And she did the face too. So yeah, it's become a thing that girl. She's getting a total resurgence through my bad bucktooth impersonation of her. Although that cartoon that Bone shows is horrifying. That is nightmare fuel. Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A sauce? In fact, the killer in Stage Fright I felt like was the best part. Very energetic killer with a hair metal singing voice, fun character. Let me Google this Stage Fright character here. Oh yeah, kind of Kabuki Man. Kind of. Oh, that's the 2014 one. Yeah, it's kind of a Kabuki scary. It looks like something a Japanese wrestler would wear to the ring. And then the 1987 one's like an owl. Is that what that is? Cool. I like the killer owl. Or is that just some sort of owl-looking thing? Yeah, he looks like an owl. I don't know what the hell he is. Maybe a snowman? No Chick-fil-A sauce? But did you ever but you did have it. What are your thoughts, Jonathan? Yeah, I'd never had it before. I don't mess with Chick-fil-A that much. And when I do, I usually get like chicken nuggets and stuff and the little popcorn chickenies. So I usually get ranch with it. But now I'm turned on to the Chick-fil-A. I like it. Um, It's interesting because, like any weird sauce, you try to decipher it. You like backtrack it when you're tasting it. Reverse engineer it. So at first I was like, "What is this? Like mayonnaise and French dressing?" And I was like, "No, it's some variation on honey mustard. I don't know what they're mixing it with. Maybe with a little ranch. I don't know. But yeah, I like the Chick-fil-A sauce. It's good. It goes with everything. Yeah, chicken nuggets, like I say, tater tots. Um, what did I eat the other day that I put it on? That was weird. Oh, corn dog nuggets. It was delicious with some corn dog nuggets. So now he's got everybody tied up around the kitchen table, or around the kitchen table, around the Thanksgiving table. Um, they got old girl on the, uh, she's been cooked and is tied up like a turkey, old buddy's wife. And he's got all the people at the party, gathered around this sort of dinner table, and each one's like gagged and crying. And he tells the dude that recorded the YouTube video at the beginning that it was your video that inspired me to make the more. So really, this is all your fault, YouTube internet guy. Owl mask. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was an owl mask. That's cool. Night Owl digs that. It's honey mustard, barbecue, and something else. Okay. Because the other day when I was eating chicken nuggets, I like to put a couple different sauces. I'm sassy like that. And I had the barbecue sauce. There's a local place, Sonny's Barbecue. They're all over Florida in the area I'm at, and they sell their barbecue sauce on the shelves at the stores. And I have some Sonny's Barbecue, and I was when you dip the Sonny's Barbecue and eat a butter nugget, and then you dip Chick-fil-A sauce, you can't taste the Chick-fil-A sauce. And I figured it was because the barbecue was so overpowering, but that does make sense that there would be a little barbecue in there. hmm As you can see, I'm a fat person. I love to eat these nuggets. Love them. Damn YouTubers, right? Yep, it's all his fault. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You guys, technically, we're all culpable. I blame TikTokers and Instagram reelers. The YouTube people, we're fine. We're old school. It's amazing how John Carver's horrible Thanksgiving dinner is actually extra creepy. Like he's got lanterns and candles, and like he really gave this thought. He's like, I want this to look extra creepy. And he takes old buddy's wife and he cuts a little bit off the inside of her thigh. And it's amazing how much it looks like turkey. They always say people taste like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken. Well, anyways, yeah. Before all this awfulness broke out, we were discussing Thanksgiving food. What's your besides live with the mashed potatoes and the stuffing? What's your favorite Thanksgiving jam? Or do those a bunch of you not celebrate Thanksgiving? I know a lot of folks kind of walked away from it, indigenous peoples and all that. Any excuse to have a big meal, I'm all for. We're doing we live across the street from my wife's grandma. So we're going to go over there and see all the family, but we're also making a turkey here and they're making a ham there. So it's going to be total just old country buffet, stuff your face style all day. And I'm looking forward to it. And then my silly Packers play at night, so I've got a whole day planned of just sitting on my ass doing nothing but getting fat. So we're having the climactic scene here. John Carver's, like I say, he was throwing this Halloween party, this Thanksgiving party, and he's got everybody all tied up. But then they escape, so we have to have the chase through the woods. Because once again, the slasher trope of, if at some point a jiggly woman isn't running through the woods for her life, is it really a slasher movie? I'm having my meal of side dishes, no turkey. That's the thing with Thanksgiving, you kind of can. Like I say, with the mashed potatoes and the sweet potatoes, and the whatever, the cranberry and the stuffing and all that, it's such a big plate. Um, that's the hard part about the turkey sandwiches, is I love them after they're done, but there's no room on the plate for anything else. Make a turkey sandwich, and then on the side, it's like maybe a little mac and cheese, maybe some mashed potatoes. But who wants corn with a sandwich? It becomes a real quandary. You're fat? I'm working on it. He's fat with a PH. Oh, go on. I don't know what I am if he's fat. LOL. I don't know, man. With the baby and all that, like the last couple months of the pregnancy, we pretty much just sat around and ate. Like the missus would get hungry late at night, and I would get hungry too. So we'd be like making pork chop dinners and stuff. Like we ate pork chops at like midnight tonight. Um, Yeah. Um, so yeah, I probably put on a good 20 pounds with the baby. It's a sympathy weight. Sympathy weight. There's only three of us this year, so we're making turkey burgers, and I plan on pigging out on snacks. Word. That's the thing. What do you guys like for the dessert? Are you a pumpkin pie people? I enjoy the pumpkin pie. Uh, of course, it needs the whipped cream and everything. So here's the reveal that the killer was one of her homies, Bobby, and the sheriff shows up. I was like, oh, the sheriff's here. Huh. The sheriff never shows up in a movie like this. Um, Let me see. You're fat bones. Word. I'm fat on the inside. Yeah, that's the thing. No matter how what my weight is, I'm fat because I will be it. Tonight I was had to stop at McDonald's to pick some food up for somebody, and the McRib is back. And I just kind of stopped and stared at the poster for a minute. And I was like, the McRib. I turned into like Homer Simpson for a minute. Just have a DiGiorno's turkey pizza. I don't fuck with DiGiorno's. I like most frozen pizzas. I like the Tombstone. Oh boy, I like Jack's. You guys got Jack's where you are? That's for a $3 frozen pizza. You can't go wrong. But DiGiorno's surprisingly disappointing. I don't know. They got a weird flavor to them. I want that pizza, but no Kroger's in my area. Um, Heard they were planning on making an Orphan 3. Guess Esther is getting her time to shine years after the first one. What happened in Orphan 2? I never saw it. I liked Orphan 1. I thought it was kind of silly and fun. It was a good like Poison Ivy type horror movie. Um, yeah, I don't know. I thought Orphan was a fun ride, but I don't know how there was anything to tell there besides the first one. I think the sequel was maybe a prequel. Is that what it was? I don't remember. I remember they made it, and I was like, really, more Orphan? Um, I think I seen a short someone found it at a dollar store, Ben. Like Family Dollar. First movie was big when I was high school, though. Was that Orphan? Pumpkin pie with whipped cream. Yeah, love me some pumpkin pie. I like the pumpkin pie where it's completely covered in whipped cream, and you only discover it's pie once you dig into it. Yeah, I like the cool whip or the what is it? Ready Whip? Is that the one in the can? For some reason, the pumpkin pie I like it in the can. I'm fine with putting the scoop by where Cool Whip on there, but just in general, the spray can is more fun. And I don't even do whippets. Shit's bad for you. I hate most pies. I don't like warm fruit. Pumpkin pie is best though. Yeah, pumpkin pie is good stuff. You ever had sweet potato pie? Some people have that for Thanksgiving. I've never had it before. I think I maybe tried it once and I was like, tastes all right. Tastes like mediocre pumpkin pie. Two is a prequel. It's good. Okay, yeah, so two is a prequel. Orphan 2 is a prequel about a family finding a girl who claims to be their missing daughter. The messed up part about Orphan is I think that's like based on a couple of real cases, not the part where she seduces the dad and stuff, but like the stuff about someone older than they are pretending to be young to get adopted. And there's that one documentary about that dude who shows up and tells a lady that he's her son that went missing like 4 or 5 years earlier. And, there's all sorts of stuff with these people who show up and they're not really who they seem to be. The second Orphan movie was fun to me, a little twisty. It made me think when they made it, it made me think there must be something to it if they bothered to make it, unless it's one of those cheapo, like, like I said, I always call them direct to red box, but they used to be direct to video. Whenever anything caught on big in the 90s and thousands, there was always a direct to video follow up. Said girl is Esther, obviously. Yeah. So here's the part where Patrick Dempsey reveals himself to be the killer. And this is what I was bitching about earlier. I mean, I guess if you don't know who Patrick Dempsey is, like if you're not a fan of film history or watch a lot of old stuff or whatever, you might not recognize him. But like I say, out of everybody in this, he has the biggest and most prestigious career. He's arguably the most famous to the movie going audience. So he obviously wouldn't be in this movie if he was just like the cop. Oh, he's got four lines and he just kind of bounces up. Um, so right away, I had a feeling, unless it was a red herring, that he was pretty clearly the killer. And sure enough, when it turned out he was the killer, I was felt let down. But his whole reasoning, going back to it's a lot like Scream. Here's why I did it. I've been angry and harboring, all this hatred, and now I've decided to murder everybody because of it. Damn. Orphan First Kill, yeah, that's what it's called. Like I say, I liked that first Orphan. I thought it was funny and weird. I didn't know anything about it, so it actually was a surprise to me when I was watching. I'm like, I thought it was like a good son type movie. Like, oh, that little kid's bad. And then later on you realize, oh. So here's where they reveal that John Carver is not only he was in love with Gina Gershon, but she was pregnant with his baby. So I gotta murder all you high school bastards, even though you're all 20 something. And he's just so like conniving and evil. It makes me wonder, like, if there's a sequel, like what's the reasoning or the motives for the killer and whatever. As I pointed out, the John Carver mask, it's just like Scream. Anybody can turn out to be the killer at the end. So they basically work as mysteries, assuming that's the way they go in part two. They better not try to bring back Zombie Dempsey. Senior Pizza Zombie. Uh, Looking forward to how that widower guy will handle the fact that his wife was cheating on him and planning on leaving him on Thanksgiving too. The stuff's about to hit the fan. Can't Buy Me Love is such a nostalgic comfort movie for me. Yeah, Can't Buy Me Love and Lover Boy, like I say, Senior Pizza. Um, Patrick Dempsey was I don't know, he was just kind of an '80s staple. So that's what I mean. Like maybe the young crowd that would go to just see a teen slasher movie might not even know who Patrick Dempsey is. But as soon as I see him, it's like, well, clearly he's in this movie for a reason. Although it wasn't like Henry Winkler in the original Scream or one of those. And I remember thinking like, oh, he's a little too big to be in this without having actually anything to do. Which goes back to, like I say, the red herring thing. It's like, we'll throw you a curveball. We'll stick the Fonz in here. I'd want to see a zombie at Dempsey, to be honest. It might be interesting. Like I say, if he's got the Senior Pizza mustache on and the sombrero, he doesn't. Why? McDreamy? Yeah, actually, I after Patrick Dempsey had disappeared from the public eye after he was popular as a teenager and early 20s guy, um, I wrote a horror movie that I wanted to learn how to write a screenplay. So I read a bunch of books on it and I wrote a horror movie. And the main character in the horror movie has a friend Ted, and in my mind, I always imagined him as Patrick Dempsey. I was like, he'd be good to dust off like John Travolta, Pulp Fiction style. Like everybody kind of forgot about Patrick Dempsey, but he would work good. And then later on, Patrick Dempsey became McDreamy, and I had this weird sense of self satisfaction. Like, see, I knew Patrick Dempsey would have a redemption. He would come back in fashion. Now we discover the last dream. Well, I don't know why it is just what it is. That Don doesn't have nipples? I'm so confused. Oh, we're talking about my nipples again? Yeah, I was a surprise to me. I was unaware, but apparently I'm nippleless. Don nippleless. Um, was this his pre-appearance in Scream 3? Maybe. Put that in your little computer, Ted. Exactly. Gotta go to bed. Have a great night, Don. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mayan. I hope you have a good night and have a nice day tomorrow, hanging out with the fam and the cute kids and everything. I hope your food is delicious. Uh, Cheers to you and yours. I'm thankful for you, is what I should be saying, actually. I'm thankful for all of y'all, if I want to be honest. Thanksgiving's a time we're supposed to be thankful. I'm incredibly thankful for the audience, folks who come up to talk movies and watch movies with me, and the folks who watch the replays later because they like how cool all the people in the chat are and how well how easy it is for me to interact with them and make friends and have lifelong homies like I consider all of you to be. So I'm very thankful for all of you, is the whole point of that rambling nonsense. Uh, I don't love that for you. I'm one of the few that actually loved Scream 3. Was so excited to see him in it when it came out. Um, May hates me. She didn't even say hi to me. Hello. Oh, Bones. No, she loves you. Oh, Boglins. May's Boglins for life. I know. Isn't it sad, Lay? Good night, Mayanne. Good night, all. Got to go to work. Down as always. Love 3B. Thank you, Matt. As I say, Matt is one of my lifelong friends who I've made here on YouTube. Some people on different websites, when I connect with them, they just line up perfectly. You know, I still have friends from MySpace and shit, and all sorts of people I met on Twitter who became good friends and frequently pop up in these chats and find me on other websites and stuff. It's like the friends you make on the internet often become some of your bestest friends. And Matt's one of my main homies. I love me some Matt, handsome rascal. So there we see the fireman leave with the mask over his face, and we kind of get an idea that John Carver has escaped. And we do this epilogue thing where she wakes up in bed, and I've kind of mentioned this before. When a horror movie, once the monster's dead, wrap your movie up. There's the multiple false endings, or even worse, the ending that's followed up by just a bunch of talking before the credits sucks. Don't do that. So this is a lot also like Hostel, where the character wakes up and they're like back at home and everything's over, but it was all just a dream. Freddy Krueger is in fact not coming to get her. But I do love that this movie ends with Misfits Where Eagles Dare. Like as soon as I saw that, that made me pop. It was like, well, I can't be too mad at it. They went with the Misfits at the end, and this kind of cool, cartoony. I don't even know how you would describe it. It looks almost like a graphic novel with still shots of some of the more iconic death shots in this. But yeah, I love that Misfits soundtrack at the end. May and I both said to hi to you, Bones. You didn't say hi back. Thank you, Liv. Stand up for yourself. Oh, I didn't see Liv. I was about to say, hey, you hated me too. Oh, you iggied me in the OGPs the other night. I thought you hated me. Oh, Bones. No one hates you. Everybody loves Bones. Bones is the man. I kept saying to myself, I got to get back to see Bones in Horror Cat Dad. So my return to YouTube is partly your fault, Bones. What do I do, Lay? Nothing. Word. You. All right. Well, it is 3:54 a.m. I think we'll wrap up and get out of here before 4 a.m. Eastern time and let everybody get some sleep and enjoy their what was the fuck was that noise? I think someone just got shot outside. I'm not sure. I heard what sounded like screaming and then a loud bang. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go and make sure I wasn't a an audio witness to a murder. I don't know. Bones, I think you fell asleep during that stream. I promise I wasn't ignoring you. Anyways, you guys just figuring out that whether or not you hate Bones, the surprise ending is no, you don't. We all love Bones. You haven't officially returned until you return to the yard. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm only one third back as long as I haven't done a yard or an in the house. And I'm gonna invite myself on Lay's lair. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I'm coming on, Lay. I bet she would clear a spot for me. Anyways, Aaron says thanks for the stream. Thank you for hanging out, Aaron, Ben, Bones, Mayan, Echo was here earlier. My guy Mitch, Aaron was like I say, thank you. Jen from the graveyard, and oh boy, Anthony Chabot was here. Texas, my guy Texas Russell. Where was Russell Collier? What have y'all done with Russell Collier? Anyways, she says she would love for me to come on the lair. Stop it. Um, anyways, yeah, as salacious as that is, I'll go ahead and leave that one be. And you guys have a wonderful night. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving, a safe and a fruitful Black Friday. Enjoy your leftovers, your football, your family, your peace and quiet, whatever it is you're into for this holiday. For those of you not in the U.S., thank you for tolerating me rambling about a silly U.S. holiday where fat people figure out a way to get even fatter. That's how we do here, bro. we'd be eating. But other than that, I'm grateful for y'all very much, and I appreciate you coming and watching Thanksgiving with me. Um, I think there's nothing else left to be said, but I wish you green grass and high tides forever. Adios, amigos. Have a good night.